Ever wanted to go 147 miles per hour in race performance cars all while sitting comfortably in a sedan? Then an electric car might be for you. Before I met one of my friends, I had never even heard of a Tesla, much less ever ridden any kind of electric car. Now they're one of my favorite vehicles to ride in. The only thing that I can compare it to that many might be familiar with is the Top Thrill Dragster roller coaster at Cedar Point. While that roller coaster does have a 2-second faster 0 to 60, once you get to a certain level of acceleration, it all feels about the same. I'm very familiar with the Teslas now because my friend's parents own 2 of them, and I've been in them quite often. Dinner conversations at their house often revolve around the newest thing that Tesla and Elon Musk are doing. You know, between your car payment and gas, it can be very expensive to drive, not to mention bad for the environment with the amount of pollutants that vehicles emit. You know, electric vehicles, honestly, are the future of the automotive industry. Things that I'm going to talk to you about are what different electric vehicles are, the cost of electric versus gas vehicle, the impact on the environment, the fact that electric vehicles are a lot more fun to drive, and that electric vehicles are often safer than gas vehicles. So talking about electric vehicles, there's a couple different kinds. There's the battery electric vehicle, which is 100% electric, such as Tesla's Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Bolt. There's the hybrid electric vehicles, which combine electric and gas for best consumption between the two, like a Prius. And then there are plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. These use electric as their main energy source and gas as a backup when the battery is low, like the Chevy Volt. You may be familiar with a few of these cars, and the price to buy them can be a deterrent, but long term it can save you money. So the cost of buying an electric vehicle, obviously you see some of them are super expensive, but the US government has created a federal tax incentive of $7,500 for buying a new electric vehicle. So your lower mileage electric vehicles that only get around 100-mile range, they can cost as low as $22,000 after the tax incentive. And some of your higher range vehicles that get around 300-mile range can cost around $80,000 after the tax incentive. So the cost of buying a new gas vehicle is about $36,000 in 2018, with some of your higher end vehicles being comparable to some of the more higher end electric vehicles as far as your amenities inside your vehicle go. But the Department of Energy estimates that the cost of fueling an electric car is about half the cost of fueling a gas car. So if you're somebody that drives a lot, it can be worth it. You know, if you're spending several hundred a month on your gas versus $50 a month for electric for your car, that can add up over time. So not only are these electric cars better for your pocketbook, but they're also better for the environment. True electric cars have 0 emissions, and electric is cleaner than gas. There's a lot more renewable electric sources being used, such as solar and wind, and it's a lot cleaner versus your non-renewables like coal and nuclear. But drilling for oil to create gas is very detrimental to the environment, because not only are they disrupting the environment, there's the issues of oil spills and such, and then that crude oil has to be refined, and then it gets burned, and it's just a very long process. The electric vehicles also have the appeal, you know, being better for the environment, but they have the appeal of being a lot more fun to drive. Electric cars have instant acceleration because they don't have a transmission, so instead of having to wait for your engine to shift between your gears, it's just a speed up motor, so it just keeps going and going faster. Electric cars are also very quiet, so you don't have to go down the road trying to listen to, you know, people over the sound of your engine. And with the speeds that you can achieve in some of the electric cars, you'd think they'd need higher safety ratings, and in fact, many of them do have a lot higher safety ratings than your gas vehicles. Tesla has some of the highest safety ratings on the road. And not only that, but your electric cars don't have your risk of catching fire quite like your gas cars do because there's no fuel to burn if there's an accident. So, we went over the cost of your electric vehicles. It can be comparable to the cost of a gas vehicle, and some of them even cost less. Fueling up with electric is a lot cheaper than fueling up with gas sources. It's better for the environment. Your electric vehicles aren't putting out any carbon emissions, whereas your gas vehicles, you're putting out all kinds of carbon as soon as you turn it on until you turn it off. The electric vehicles are a lot more fun to drive. Instant acceleration. They have a very fast 0 to 60, which appeals to a lot of people. And they're safer than your gas vehicles. And since most of them are newer vehicles, they have a lot more put into their safety ratings versus some of our older gas vehicles that a lot of people are still driving. So with all that in mind, I think electric vehicles are the future of the automotive industry. And what's not to love about a car that's fast, eco-friendly, and cheaper than comparable sports cars? I believe that in my lifetime, electric cars are going to far outnumber gas cars on the road.